Hey, what's up, guys? It's Renaldo here. So, what would you say if I told you that there is a government organization that decides whether or not airlines can get their licenses in this country, but only if they adhere to triple BEE, both for domestic and international airlines? Now, of course, that would be absurd because why would you try and put this on international airlines that services all the countries in the world? And when it comes to South Africa, now they have to give a portion of their company away in order to do business with South Africa. It's almost like South Africa thinks that they are doing the rest of the world a favor by allowing airlines to land in South Africa and depart from South Africa. It is just absolutely absurd. And Sakeliga had a look at that and also said, that's bullshit. Enough is enough. Now, for too long, this country has acted like broad-based black economic empowerment isn't racism, isn't discrimination. We've got mainstream media that's not reporting on this story that I'm about to tell you. Mainstream media has for the longest period of time ignored race-based legislation in this country, race-based laws, broad-based black economic empowerment, and ultimately it's just become the norm that it is acceptable to discriminate against people in this country. Whereas if we had the same mainstream media that we had in the 70s and 80s, they would have been on top of this and would have criticized the government and would have told international communities and the people that are willing to listen that what is happening in this country is discrimination. But unfortunately, we don't have that mainstream media. But we have organizations like Sakeliga that is fighting the good fight. So Sakeliga decided to take them to court to say, how can you implement this? And I'm very happy to report that Sakeliga has won both cases, whereas this government body is not allowed to implement triple BEE when they are looking at giving these companies licenses. But before I show you what exactly went down with Sakeliga in this court case, please be sure to subscribe to this channel. It's absolutely free. It won't cost you anything. And also, please be sure to share this video far and wide, and don't forget to smash the like button. All right, let's have a look. Alright, so this is from Sakeliga's own website, and the background is that race-restrictive aviation licensing in South Africa dates back to at least 2023, when it was brought to Sakeliga's attention that the domestic regulator, the Air Services Licensing Council, was unlawfully denying license renewals by invoking provisions in BEE regulation. I mean, talk about killing the economy, but yet you've got Cyril Ramaphosa that talks about how they're removing red tape. Well, this is not doing that. BEE is a radical version of what is internationally known as DEI, where state institutions in South Africa attempt to use regulation to restrict economic opportunities on the basis of race. Soon after Sakeliga launched a formal investigation, foreign embassies alerted us that the IASC was making similar demands of international airlines. That is just absurd. But anyway, the IASC persisted with its demands even though the International Air Services Act grants it no authority to impose BEE criteria. So even though it's not in legislation and they were acting unlawfully, they still decided to double down on this. Brilliant. Having concluded its litigation against the domestic regulator, Sakeliga commenced litigation against the IASC in October 2025. The Minister of Transport filed notice in November 25 that she would not oppose the application, and the IASC itself withdrew its opposition in February 2026, clearing the way for this favorable order. Now, just to give you what the order actually stated, let's have a look here. Number one, it's unlawful for the IASC to require triple BEE compliance or apply any race-based criteria when adjudicating applications for international air service licenses. Number two, license applications must be adjudicated solely on the basis of the criteria set out in the International Air Services Act and relevant regulations, which concern, among others, operational capacity, safety standards, residency, and prudent control requirements, including criteria unrelated to the Act and regulations, is unlawful. Number three, international providers of passenger, freight, and other air services can apply for and renew licenses without BEE requirements. So it was just saying apply the law. You don't have the legal standing to apply broad-based black economic empowerment when none of it exists in legislation with regards to this specific field. Now, they also said that they are looking at further BEE attacks in the aviation industry. The aviation sector remains subject to ongoing regulatory concerns and pressure to restrict access based on race. Sakeliga is investigating complaints against the Airports Company of South Africa, AXA, over its emerging practice of making triple BEE participation a condition for office space, hangars, and other lease agreements. Sakeliga is committed to scaling up its opposition to BEE in order to help restore economic order and a healthy business environment. And then it just continues on there, but you get the point. So this just kind of shows you how desperate the government is in implementing triple BEE, as the rest of the world is calming down with their DEI policies and realizing that perhaps employing the best person for the job or allowing companies to invest in a country is better than these restrictive race-based policies that you want to implement. But yet, for some reason, South Africa always goes the opposite direction. When the entire world sees that something is a bad idea, South Africa goes, hold my beer. I will show you how we are going to make this work. And this is just another clear example. South Africa's unemployment rate, broadly speaking, is close to 40%. Youth unemployment in this country is over 60%. You would think that this government would do everything in its power to open up the economy to international businesses, to invest in South Africa. But when you are telling a company, please come and invest in this country, oh, but listen, you need to give a percentage of your company away to black individuals in South Africa because of what happened more than 32 years ago. Most companies are going to look at that and go, but none of the other African countries have got this, and we can rather spend the billions that we want to invest in a country that don't demand that we give a percentage of our business away. This is just another clear indication that the ANC actually does not care about this country. The GNU in its current form doesn't care to get rid of policies that not only discriminate against people based on the color of their skin. I mean, that's one argument. But the fact that you are limiting the economy and who and what can invest in it is really problematic, considering we have the unemployment rate that we do in this country. But you know, the ANC wants to double down. They just want to make sure that they keep their voters happy, and their voters apparently want triple BEE in South Africa. So instead of what's doing best for the country, they are doing what is best for themselves in order to get more votes and to keep their voters happy. That is not how you run a country. You run a country by looking at what is best for all South Africans, whether the people voted for you or not. And unfortunately, the ANC didn't get the memo, and that is why their ministers is doubling down on race-based legislation. And ultimately, once again, to just bring it full circle, the fact that mainstream media didn't report on Sakeliga's victory, both for the local version of the race-based policies, but also then for the international ones, just tell you that they're not interested in telling the world at what's really happening in this country when it comes to discrimination. Like I said earlier, remember, during apartheid, mainstream media was condemning race-based legislation, and in 2026, we have editors that celebrate triple BEE and celebrate the fact that we have policies in this country that discriminate against people based on their race. How does that make any sense? It doesn't. But please let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know in the comments below. But that's pretty much all I got to say. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please be sure to share this video far and wide. Smash the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. It's absolutely free. It won't cost you anything. However, if you'd like to support this channel financially, you can do so by giving a super thanks. And that is finding the $ below and choosing an amount. Or you can become a member of this channel, which will cost you 46 Rand a month. And that's in support of me and this channel, and it'll be greatly appreciated. And the way that you can do that is by clicking the join button below. And that's all I got to say. Till later, cheers and peace out.
You don't even know me, but every time you airway massacre. You don't even know me, but everybody see you say airway massacre. Airway massacre. You don't even know me, but everybody see you say airway massacre. Airway massacre.